All right, so today I got to talk about a couple things when it comes to schools. And again, this is something that's really hot in the news, and obviously because of that, you got a lot of people talking about it. Now, again, you kind of have a lot of aspects to this. You got the people on the left who are, constantly need to increase school budgets. We got to have infinite amounts of teachers and administrators and all this stuff that they want. And again, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh no, we don't want that. We just want reasonable this or reasonable that." But the reality is that, again, like I say, $14,000 per kid in Alberta. You have these people complaining, "Oh, there's 30 kids in my kid's class." Well, that's over $300,000. That's like what, 350, 400. So please explain to me why that isn't enough to run a classroom of 30 kids. Now the reality is that um, number one, the teachers are overpaid. I mean, let's. I know a lot of people on the left and the teachers would hate to hear this, but again, the way you know that they're not worth as much as they think they are, and they don't even believe that too, is that if they thought they were worth as much as they were getting paid, they would be perfectly fine with a charter system, with a more privatized system, because guess what? If you're worth that much, you would get paid that much. And you can't make the, oh, well, poor people wouldn't be able to. No, that's a terrible argument because if you look at the charter schools in the States, they can educate a kid for cheaper than a public school does it. So, um, what could happen is the government could simply issue vouchers. Um, let's just say they're providing $10,000 in funding per kid, and you're parents with two kids. Well, guess what? You get $20,000 you can put towards schooling this year, and you can send your kid to whatever school you want. And again, if the public schools were actually better, they would win out under this system. But the reality is that all these people, when it comes to, I mean, there's two main aspects to this. Number one is they want to maintain the bloated salaries of the teachers, of the administrators, and of the unions is the big one too. A lot of these unions are, and the people running them are just raking in the money, and it's almost entirely just a scam. They don't even need to exist most of the time in the first place, or not nearly to the degree that they do. So again, it's basically your typical pyramid scheme, right? So the people that support the unions and the public system, and oh, we should only have public schools. Um, Again, they don't want that because they want to maintain their bloated salaries. And again, a lot of these people are just blindly supporting whatever it is they support. Again, they don't really care about. And again, they don't care about the kids too. Again, if they cared about the kids, they wouldn't just strike when school is in session, for example. They would be willing to give in as a little bit as well. It wouldn't be again, it's the classic leftist thing. They always just disguise their agenda about, oh, we care about the poor, we care about the kids, we care about the terrible downtrodden. No, they're just lying. They just care about their agenda, and they'll disguise it in any way, shape, or form to get people to go along with it. Again, so it's crazy. And so Zuby here says the public school system will teach your children that gender is a social construct, communism is fine, masculinity is pathological. Um, but they won't teach you how to start a business, invest, or take care of your health through diet and exercise. And this is the problem with public schools, is that I am definitely drawing a hard line that I really don't care about, oh, public schools do this, public schools do that. They do not teach people about many of the most important things that you need to be taught about, especially in high school. Like a lot of this math and the science and a lot of this stuff is, you don't use that stuff in your day-to-day life. But do you know one thing that everybody uses in their day-to-day life? Well, investing. How do I look after my finances? That is someone that everybody needs help. I would say probably 90% of people need help with in society nowadays. Taking care of their diet. That's another thing that probably, I don't know, half of people out there have no idea what they're doing when it comes to that. And a lot of the rest still are vaguely knowledgeable. How to start a business, how business works. But again, they're never going to teach people how to start a business or how business works because number one, that would teach people to be more entrepreneurial and less handouty, less welfare-y. Investing, again, they're never going to teach people about that too, because um, again, that would make people not need. Again, if you know how to invest your own money, well, why in the world would you need the government? Why would you need why would you need pensions? Why would you need old age security? Why would you need any? Why would you need disability? Why would you need any of this kind of stuff? Again, so the goal is, it's not that the government doesn't know this kind of stuff. It's not that they're genuinely ignorant. Again, a lot of people make that excuse. Oh, the people at the top are just ignorant. No, I don't believe that, because there's no way they don't know this kind of stuff, because it's not complicated. And again, how to take care of your health. Again, um, if you're really healthy, well, why in the world would you need a healthcare system that's massively bloated? That, oh, well, free healthcare. No, you wouldn't need that, because if you're healthy, you maybe spend, upwards of what, 500, $1,000 a year on healthcare. You could easily just pay out of pocket or just get insurance and save a ton of money. But again, they don't want to teach people that, because if you're going to have a heart attack in your 40s and cost, have to spend millions in healthcare money over your lifetime, well, yeah, of course you're going to want free healthcare. So again, it's entirely to mislead people, I guess. And the system is designed to keep people dependent. Now, again, it may not be in people, scheming in their, in their ivory towers. How can we get people to be more dependent? But that really doesn't matter, because the ramifications of the way the system is currently being done is people are dependent. So it really doesn't matter if there's whether or not there's people that are scheming that way. And I do believe that there is some people scheming, at least to some degree. And again, there's a lot of money to be made off that too. Like, um, how much money is made by banks and by credit card companies, and even in real estate and all this kind of stuff, off people um, paying massive amounts of interest on, a lot of things, like whether it's credit cards, housing, anything basically. And again, if people were more educated when it comes to their finances, they would be able to pay for more stuff out of pocket, which means less money for banks and for credit card companies, so on and so forth. Not only that too, when you do have to pay interest, you'd be paying less interest, which means even less money for the banks and all these uh, credit card companies and whatnot. So again, it's just misleading people is the main thing. And this is from Scott Adams. This is another thing I wanted to talk about here. He says most of our national problems, unemployment, poverty, systemic racism, closed schools, uptick in suicide, crime, drugs, TDS, are caused by teachers' unions limiting school choice. Until all of us can say that in public without getting canceled, we're totally effed as a country. And again, it's something that, again, I've been talking about for months now. That's um, again, this is a way that that the publicly funded school system, not all of them obviously, but most of them, they're not interested in what is best for kids. They're clearly not interested in what is best for kids, because if they were, they wouldn't be against school choice. They wouldn't be against competition. The reason that they're against a charter system is because they want a monopoly. Because when you have a monopoly, you can charge pretty much whatever you want. They can have their $100,000 a year salaries with 3 months off, with the best benefits packages that exist. So of course they don't want school choice, because if there's school choice, someone would undercut them, and not because they would provide a worse service to the kids, but because the way that things currently being done are massively bloated. Again, like I say, you got a classroom of 30 kids in Alberta. You're looking at what, 350, $400,000 in that of funding in that classroom, and you're telling me that that's not enough? That's enough, again, to pay what, two teachers 100,000 and another 150 to 200,000 left over, and you think that that's not enough? That's what these people are arguing. And when you put it that way too, it's impossible to not think, well, where does all that money go? But the reality is that a lot of that money, number one, the teachers are overpaid. Um, Number two, the administrators are overpaid. Number three, the unions siphon a bunch of it off. And I mean, there's a lot more to it too. But again, that's the problem. And it's not that I'm not 100% against unions, but especially, I mean, if you're forced to join them, then yeah, because that's not fair. That's stupid. But the problem again is that they oftentimes exist to not help the society as a whole. They exist to help the special interest. And it's the same reason why, again, why the left always accuses the right of, oh, you guys just want to help out your buddies. You just want, corporatism this, corporatism that. But the reality is that they want to do the same thing because they want to do the same thing. Again, so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. But like I said, there's so much misinformation when it comes out there, when it comes to schools. I mean, you just read about some of these leftists, and again, uh, I don't really care what they think for the simple reason that they don't even believe in their own politics. Again, so like I say too, that if they actually believe that public schools were better and public school teachers are worth how much they're being paid, they would have absolutely no problem with school choice because they would get paid just as much or more. But they know they're not, and not only that too, they know that the price of schooling would go down, thus completely disproving the idea that, oh, everything needs to be publicly funded. If anything is privately funded, it's going to end up terrible. No, it would completely disprove their worldview. So that's why they're against it. So anyway, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you check me out. Check out all those other links that are in the description. Make sure you follow me in those other platforms if you haven't done that. And make sure you stay tuned for more.